Well, hello, this is Yvonne Teoh Bource from Connect to Soul with your weekly soul wisdom for the week of the 13th of August 2018. Well, here I am, a sunny day in Melbourne, which is just wonderful. I'm a bit of a sun worshipper. So this morning I want to address a subject which comes up continuously in my work when I am working with students, and that is, are you worth the effort? So when that subject came up into my mind this morning, it was like I opened a floodgate of information or things that my source wanted me to convey. And so it became a bit of a jumbled mess. So I am going to do the best I can with it. So are you worth the effort? Well, you might ask, what am I talking about? Well, I guess I would start with the understanding that we are soul that has a body, not a body that has a soul. In other words, that we are energetic spirit, whatever you want to call it, before the body, and when we leave the body we will still be that. So then when you have that understanding, you realize that this body is a gift the soul has to experience the physical life, and without this body, the soul, I, would not be able to sit here and talk to you. I certainly would not have been able to have all the wonderful experiences that I've had in my life so far, and all that is still coming my way. So from that point of view, for me, this physical vehicle, the body that we attach so much identity to, is my soul's greatest asset to be able to have a physical experience. And so as a physical being, then that is my first responsibility, is to take care of the vehicle and to make sure that my soul has a physical experience to the highest possibility for all concerned. That includes the soul, the physical being, and all that we impact. So, that all sounds really maybe a little bit, intense, but I don't want it to be. And if I'm stumbling, it's because it's like there is so much information that is being downloaded in my head at the moment that wants to be conveyed that I'm not quite sure where to start. So let's begin at the beginning and just look at a question that I'm asked sometimes, and that is, in all the 30 plus years that I've worked as an intuitive life coach and spiritual teacher and whatever other titles that people have put to me, how much success have I had, or how much success have the people that come to me had? And my answer is always 100%. And I usually get a very strange look, and they say, well, how can it be 100%? That's ridiculous. And my answer is, well, because I believe that those who actually are prepared to do the work necessary, they have 100% success rate. But those who don't. And for me, I really can't help that. I am not responsible for those who don't feel they're worth the effort. And I guess that's a subject that I want to look at today. Are you worth the effort? Because it does take effort. We are so conditioned into fear, into believing that we're not good enough, into believing that we have to have other people's permission to do things, in the belief that we can't be happy unless we have lots of this or that or something else, lots of love from a partner, lots of money in the bank, the great house, whatever it is that you want lots of. If we don't have that, then we have this belief that we can't be happy. So a lot of our conditioning has been to create a belief that our life and our life joy and success and happiness is dependent on what we see out there. And I've talked about that all the time. So what is different about today's talk? Well, today's talk is about examining how much are you worth to you. The reason that came up for me recently is because I've struggled with my gut health for many years now. And I've managed it, and I've had periods where I've been really bad and periods where I've been really good, and I've managed it. But recently, through a beautiful man who's put me on a path that is now actually helping my body to heal, because I know my body can heal itself. I just needed to get out of the way, and I just needed to give it the right things to heal itself with. So one of the things that I had to give up, and I guess this is what I have to talk about today, is when I talk about are you worth the effort, you know, sometimes when we are reaching for something that we think is missing in our life, we always have to change. You know, if you don't have in your life what it is that you want, it is because something in you is not creating it. So therefore you have to make a change, you have to make a shift to learn how to be the creative force to affect, you know, the consciousness that creates all things, to bring something into form that you desire. So if you're not doing that, then obviously you need to make a change. As I always say, if you're always going to do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always got. And if you want something different, you need to change. And so my question is, how much are you worth it to you to change? So getting back to my own story for a moment is that one of my favorite foods was bread and cheese. They were just, you know, my staple diet. I would often not cook and I'd go, oh, I just have some cheese on toast or something, you know, because it's always very tasty. And I liked it. And I come from a cheese country, and bread has always been, you know, a great friend. I've loved having a piece of toast. And so I was told, okay, if you really, really want to help your body heal your gut, you need to go grain-free. That means, you know, absolutely no grain, so no bread, no biscuits. And I kind of, you know, like the odd biscuit. And by the way, I'm on day 30 today that is grain-free. So I feel a bit like somebody who's given up an addiction. And I guess in a way it is, because you know, you get into habits of having a certain lifestyle and you reach for it automatically. But the thing about it is, I used to say to people, the one thing I will never give up is bread or cheese. And of course it's one thing that I had to give up, not so much the cheese, because I can have just, you know, the odd tiny bit here and there, but mainly it is the bread and the biscuits and everything to do with flour. So, or with grains, any kind of grain. And I must say that part of my makeup is that if I make a decision, I make it and it's clear cut, done, and I stick with it. And so from that day forward, when I was diagnosed that this was part of an autoimmune disorder, that I just, okay, that's what I would do. I have always believed that my body can heal, and therefore I will help it to do so. Okay, so why is this part of this discourse this week about are you worth the effort? Well, you know, for me, there was no question. I'm definitely worth the effort. Because I want to be healthy, I want to be strong, I want to be able to live all of my life vibrantly, you know, with a physical body that is there, that can support my soul's purpose. But once my physical body is not completely viable, vital and healthy, it demands so much attention that my soul purpose is rather pushed aside, because then I don't have the energy for it, I don't have the state of mind for it, because all of my energy is sucked up in trying to hold up, you know, the physical vehicle. And that's not how I want to live my life. So yes, I'm worth it. Absolutely, I'm worth it. I will do whatever it takes. So I have a commitment form that I ask people to sign when they come to do work with me, and that commitment form is not a commitment to me, it's a commitment to you. And you'll find in the description box below a link to 7 Steps to Success. And I really encourage you to avail yourself of that, because I take you through, it's 90 minutes of video clips taking you through from step 1 to conclusion as how to go about this process I'm actually talking about, of making the effort and making sure you're worth it. Because this formula for success is vital. You cannot achieve anything with having all 7 steps working 100%. But the first step is that commitment to you. Are you worth it to you? How much are you worth to you? Well, look, it's 100% is my answer. But I want to ask you to ask yourself. It's so easy, to just go, oh, look, I'll do it tomorrow, or, I'll do it another day. But would you have another day? How much is it worth to you to feel free from any physical hindrances, from any fears, from any anxieties that hold you back, from any relationships that are not functioning for you? And that could be the relationship with you. How much are you worth it to be healthy? Yeah, you might have to give up a lot of good things. The great thing about it for me is that when I actually sat down and realized what I could eat, I'm actually eating a lot more than I used to, and feeling no bloatingness, I'm not feeling any tummy discomfort, and this was not the purpose, but I've lost, I think now 7 kilos in these last 30 days. And that was not my intent, because I'm quite comfortable with the size of my body. But what I'm actually finding is that I'm losing the access. We ladies have roles and things in places that and they're unhealthy. They're not meant to be there. So that's all dissipating. The symptoms that I had are dissipating. I was starting to get my joint in my right knee was starting to ache, and that just wasn't good enough. I'm a walker. I like to get about. But all of those things are disappearing. So yes, I'm worth it. I will do whatever it takes to give my body every possible support to be a vibrant vehicle for me, my soul, so that we can work together. So again, getting back to you, what is it that is missing in your life that you don't have? And are you willing to do whatever it takes to have it? Well, that starts with self-examination. What is missing? Is it, do you not feel happy? Well, then you need to think about what are your thought processes? Are you focusing on your unhappiness, or are you focusing on choosing to be happy? One of the greatest things that we have is we have willpower. We have free will. But do we use it? Do you use your free will to make a decision that you will do whatever it takes to experience the best of yourself, the best of your life, the best of your relationships? Because you do have the power within you to make that happen. However, it doesn't happen just like that. You need to maybe peel off some old conditioned habits that are standing in the way, because if you don't have it already, something is in the way. So, are you worth it? We spend a lifetime supporting other people. Why? Because we love them and we think they're worth it. But do you spend a lifetime doing that for you? Or are you the one that's always left behind? Are you the one that comes home exhausted because you have taken care of everyone else's business? If that is what you're doing, how do you think your soul's feeling in this vehicle? A soul that's created you to have this physical experience. And yet you're not listening, you're not cooperating, you're not making decisions for you and your soul. You're making plenty of decisions for other people to make their life better. Oh, can I help you? Can I do this for you? Can I do that for you? I'm not saying that you can't do that. I'm just saying that, are you doing the same for you? Are you saying to you, where am I at? Is this all there is for me? And if I don't like it, what can I do? And am I willing to do whatever it takes to make a change? I asked a friend of mine the other day, because she was watching me change my diet, and I said, if something in your life that you are struggling with, if you were told that you could reverse that, would you do whatever it took to do that? Now, what would you have said? Would you have said yes? Be very careful. She was very self-honest. She thought about it and she said, I'm not sure. And that answer, it shocked me in a way, because it's not in my makeup. But it was so self-honest, and I thought, well, that tells me that you wouldn't. You wouldn't. Because hard work, oh dear, we can't do that. Well, interestingly enough, the minute you make the decision that you'll do whatever it takes, the work actually doesn't become hard. Because suddenly you have this immense energetic support. Because it is where you're meant to be all along. It takes much more effort to be misaligned with your soul purpose and your vitality of your physicality than if you were aligned. Because the minute you become aligned, things become simple. It's interesting for me because I look at what I'm eating today and I'm going, you know, I'm actually enjoying the food. I don't feel hungry as quickly as I used to. I don't feel bloated and you know, that heaviness down there. But on the other side of the coin, I'm in the kitchen a lot more. I'm cooking a lot more. I'm washing more dishes. Because as you understand, you know, a piece of bread and a bit of butter and a bit of cheese and in the griller, that doesn't take much and there's not much washing up. But now I'm finding that I'm actually cooking breakfast instead of having a piece of toast and marmalade. And I'm actually getting a plate out and putting a salad and things together for lunch. And I'm cooking my dinner. So that takes effort and it takes a bit more work. But on the other side of the scale, I am feeling so alive, so vibrant. My body is showing signs of gratitude by feeling healthier, by having more energy. So, you know, you weigh up the pros and cons, don't you? You weigh up the pros and cons and you look at, am I worth it? So it's not so much, so I talk about my health because that was the one thing that I needed to change. But I don't want to talk about me, and I don't want to talk about my health all the time, or your health for that matter. I want to talk about it in general. You know, your desires, whatever you desire, that you desire something because it isn't here. Otherwise you wouldn't desire it, you would just be enjoying it. So let's look at any kind of desire that you have. And then you need to look at, why haven't I got it? Well, you know, when you ask that question, you will get an answer. And then, so what can I do? You know, it's always the can do's. What can I do to lean towards that desire. Leaning towards a desire means that we show the universe that we mean business, that we really mean that we're ready to have it in our lives. We're opening ourselves up to it and we're leaning towards it. So we are starting to celebrate it when we see it with others. I also remember when I wanted this particular car, and I really loved, and I've had it now for 13 years and it still drives like a brand new car, because when I saw, I saw it, I loved it, I wanted it. But at the time I didn't have the money, and the car I was driving was starting to fall apart and all sorts of things were happening to it. It was costing me money to keep it on the road. But I didn't have enough money to get a new car. Every time I saw the car, I would go, "Why are you driving my car? That's my car." I used to say it so often that friends I was with would say, "Will you stop saying that? You're never going to have that car." And I'd go, "Oh yes, because, there it is. There's my car. There's my car." I was leaning towards the car. I had such a belief that that car was going to be mine. When I drove into a car park and I saw it, I would go up to it and I would stroke it and go, "I'm going to have you. You are my car." And one day, I decided I would lean a little further. So I went to a car yard with my intent to see if they might have a model that, one of those that they use for people to trial drive it. And I thought, well, they might have one that goes cheap. And I still didn't have the money, but I thought, well, miracles happen. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to sit in it and I'm going to do all these things. Well, 3 hours later, miracles had happened. I had done nothing. I had sat in a chair. I had said to them, "I really love this car," and they were intent on me walking out with the car. And I don't know how it happened, because they decided to find me the money, and they decided that I needed to have a brand new car. And I did. And they said, "We don't know if it's actually in the country yet, but we'll let you know." I lived 2 minutes away from this car yard at the time. When I was walking in the house, my phone was ringing. I picked it up and they said, "Oh, guess what? We found your car. There's actually one in the car yard in the next suburb. You can pick it up tomorrow." Now, okay, I was leaning towards it. I did not once say, "I hope one day I'll have a car. Oh, I'm so sad. I wish I had that car." I just kept knowing that was my car. It was just a matter of time before it and me got together. So I just want you to understand, you have to lean towards it. If you want a relationship, you need to lean towards that relationship. You need to lean towards spending more time with people like-minded that are like what you want to spend time with. You need to go out and be social and have an opportunity to meet more people. If you want a different job, you need to lean towards the job you want. You need to sit down and write down the ideal job, and then you need to lean towards that. You need to start looking for it, and not as something that's missing, but as something that's coming. So then you have to do the work. You have to participate in the creative process. And are you worth that? Or are you too lazy or too stuck in your so-called comfort zone, which really isn't comfortable because it doesn't have what you asked for? What is it that you want in your life? And are you prepared to do whatever it takes? Have you got the grit? Because it's only if you think that you are worth it, that you stop feeling sorry for yourself, that you stop blaming, that you stop comparing, that you stop judging, and that you only look forward towards that which you intend to have as part of your life. Because if you didn't desire it, it wouldn't be for you. The moment you desire something, it's there. You just have to lean towards it. And you have to be prepared to do whatever it takes. It's amazing that the power that we can find when someone else is in trouble and we need to go and rescue or save. The adrenaline comes up and we find strength within ourselves that we never knew we had. Well, it's there. Why don't you find it for you? Why don't you find that wonderful, wonderful kernel, I think is the word I'm looking for, of strength, of core that is so wanting you to have everything. And sign up for it and tell your soul, I am prepared to do whatever it takes. Okay, so I did pull a card and look, it's here. And I just want to say it was quite funny because when I pulled it, I wasn't sure whether I would actually use it. But I'm going to because I liked it. And it's interesting because it says the Divine Director. And I believe that you are your own divine director, but are you using that power? Are you being the director of your life? Or are you allowing life to direct you? You know, originally I was going to talk about, excuse me, I was going to talk about, does your mind rule you or do you rule your mind? Well, maybe that's for another day. The Divine Director is intervention and purpose. Yeah, intervention. Can you intervene in the old stories that continuously repeat your experiences you're having now? Can you intervene and go, no more? I will do whatever it takes to have the alignment that will create health, abundance, joy, and love in my life. And if so, it will be there for you. But you've got to participate. Divine intervention is occurring, it says. Know that you are being guided. You're being guided by a soul that created your physicality for its purpose of expansion. So participate, get aligned. You know the only purpose you have is to be happy. Whatever it takes, go there. Be happy. Why not? You've got free will. You could choose to be happy or miserable. Whatever. I know what I've chosen. And you know what? My happiness wasn't dependent on bread or cheese. My happiness is dependent on health, a healthy body, and a healthy soul, a healthy mind, and the alignment of them all. That's what my happiness depends on. It's what my inner peace depends on. And I will do whatever it takes to have that. Let me know how you feel about it all. And if you want to change anything, just go into the description box and follow some of my links that I've put there, and you'll find all the assistance you need to make whatever changes you want to make. And if you'd like to work with me, just contact me on one of those links. So have a wonderful week. Make sure you are worth the effort of having a wonderful week and of loving yourself more.